Hey, I'm Jen. It's the 12th of July, and this is the latest travel news when it comes to the UK. So, things are starting to open up in England, and from the 19th, that means that there will be a few more options to travel outside of the UK. So, what's actually changing and happening? Well, from the 19th at 4 am, you'll be able to travel to places on the green and amber list without having to quarantine when you get home, as long as you're traveling 14 days after your second vaccine. This means that trips to Spain, Greece, and Portugal might be back on the cards for those looking to get away later on in the year. You will need to be able to prove that you've had both doses and time for them to start giving you protection, which in most cases is around 2 weeks after the second dose. You'll still need to be able to do those pre-departure tests 3 days before arrival into England, and another one once you've been home 2 days, along with completing that passenger locator form. Now, it's also really, really, really important to mention that whilst a specific place might be on our green or amber list, they might have different rules and regulations for people coming in from the UK. Some countries are still completely closed, whilst others will require you to self-isolate once you arrive. Please check the local government's websites before you're booking to make sure. We've also heard from a lot of people that they're a little bit confused about these recent changes, so these are the main questions that we've had come over to us. If there's anything else, please let us know. How do I prove my vaccination status? Well, first up, the vaccines need to be NHS administered. For those in England and Wales, proof of the vaccination should be accessible via the official NHS app, or you can request a paper copy by calling 119. This can take a week or two to arrive in the post, so please give yourself plenty of time. What happens if an amber country I'm travelling to turns red? Well, travelling to an amber country unfortunately doesn't come risk-free. If the country turns red whilst you're away, the mandatory hotel quarantine comes into effect. This is a 10-day stay at the cost of £1,750 per adult. What about the other UK nations? Well, each nation is taking a slightly different approach towards this, and the bulk of the information will apply only to England and Northern Ireland. For Scotland and Wales, they're yet to announce that they'll be following the same rules, but hopefully we'll hear something very soon. What about children that we're looking to travel with? Well, under 18s will be exempt from quarantine on returning back to England from amber listed countries, and those under 4 won't need to do any PCR tests at all. Children aged between 5 and 10 will only need to do a PCR test once they're back on that second day, and those aged between 11 and 18 will need to do a pre-departure test before returning to England, as well as another one once they are back home. How much will the tests be, and are they still really expensive? Well, this is really, really dependent on who you choose to go with. Each person who offers them can have different costs, but there is an approved company list on the FCDO website, and I'll pop that link in the description. You can check those out and make your choices from there. Lastly, will anyone actually let us into their country? Short story, yes, they will, but as mentioned earlier, it's destination dependent. If you've got a place in mind that you fancy visiting, make sure to check your home government's website as well as the destinations to make sure they'll have all the information that you could possibly need over there. Now, that's all the questions that we have to hand. If there's anything else you need us to help out with, pop them in the comments box below. Hit reply, we'll do our very best to help you out.